Ryan here again with the tech training team here at KW, and I'm back with another tip on how you can now this time organize your team's database in Command. So let's jump into Command and take a look. Like so much of our team's functionality here in Command, when we think about setting up our team for success through the organization of our database, we're then going to start in our settings. So let's go ahead and navigate there by clicking on Nina's name in the top right toolbar. Now this time, when we're talking about setting up our team for success when it comes to winning with our team database, we want to standardize the processes around not only how people get into the team's database, but also what happens when they are in that database and what information is stored on them in terms of labels, organization, lead sources, and much more. So to do that, we're going to navigate to our command settings, and everything database related will live under our contacts subheader. Now, access to these contact settings is going to differ based on those permission levels here in the team environment. So if you need a refresher on how those work and what they do for your team, check out a previous video that has all the detail you could need. But within our contact settings here, we're going to specifically be speaking to those that have enhanced and unlimited permissions within the team environment, because they are going to be the ones setting up the framework for the rest of our agents with standard permissions to then take advantage of. So we're establishing the processes for the team through these settings here. And the way that we do that through our labeling, our organization, and segmentation of our database starts with our contact tags, lead sources, and custom fields. So let's take a look at contact tags first. Now we know that tags are a wonderful way for you to label and organize your database. It really allows you to group people together so that you can later filter down and find those people by those shared likenesses. So you can create a contact tag for any and everything that you need to organize within your team's database. Maybe it's the budget range of a particular buyer. Maybe it is an interest that they have expressed to you that you want to keep track of for future events or opportunities. Or maybe it's just information about them, a certain neighborhood, a year that you met them, and the list really goes on and on. The great things about contact tags is that they are really only limited by your own creativity. But when we are on a team, we also want to have a standardized process for how our team's database is organized and what these tags look like. So with that in mind, our enhanced and unlimited permission team members are going to be able to set the tone for how the rest of the team organizes the database through the creation and modification of contact tags, which our standard permission agents are then going to take advantage of. So what that means is that if I'm a standard agent, I'm not making anything new when I'm adding contacts to my team's database. I am simply utilizing those that have been set up for me. So the settings here, as we're looking at, is a great way to see that from a bird's eye view and establish those processes for your team. It's important to note that contact tags can either be created custom for your team, or you can just utilize those that are already in Command by default. So as you'll notice here as I scroll, the created by column shows that Nina Royals has created quite a few tags for her team, but there are also some created by the system. And those system tags are always going to show up in that sky blue color here. System tags cannot be edited or deleted. So you'll notice on the far right column that the editing pencil and the trash can icon to delete are grayed out because those system tags are there by default and every user of Command universally is going to see those. But if you would like to create your own tagging system, if you need some additional labels in addition to those that are there in Command by default, you can create custom color-coded tags very easily from right here in your settings. If I click the Create Tag button, all I need to do is name the tag, and then select a color for it to be coded. And as a recommendation for best practices on our color coding systems, we probably don't want to use that sky blue color because that's what those system created tags are always going to show up as. But that's okay. You've got the rest of the rainbow here at your fingertips. So anything between red and purple is going to look great for your custom created tagging system. And you can get really creative too with the color coding. I've seen a lot of great systems, and anything that works best for you and is easy for your team to remember and leverage in their day-to-day is going to be great to use here. I would also recommend, however, not utilizing the gray color for your custom tags. And that's for the simple reason that legacy tags are going to show up as gray. If you don't know what a legacy tag is, take a quick look at the transferring contacts video, and that'll tell you a little bit more about it. Okay, but once I've named my tag and selected a color for it, all I need to do is click create. And now that tag is going to be available for not just myself, but anyone within my team's system here in Command to be able to utilize for their own leads and contacts. The same thought process applies to lead sources as well, but where we can have 1,000 different contact tags on a contact, there's only one way that someone really truly entered your database, and that's your lead source. So lead sources function very similarly in that they're a way of organizing your contacts, but a lead source is going to be, rather than color-coded, just simply sorted into one of 5 categories. But just like with our contact tags, system-created lead sources are always there by default and can't be edited or deleted. But you can create new custom lead sources. I click the Create Custom Source button here at the top right. I name my new lead source, and I sort it into one of those 5 categories, whatever makes the most sense for you and your team in organizing this. Once I do so, that lead source is also going to be available for anyone we add to our team's database now. But again, keeping in mind that we only have one lead source on a particular client, whereas we can have as many tags as necessary. And custom fields are going to be a huge one when it comes to keeping track of information that Command might not already have a field for available by default. So custom fields are also managed in a team environment by those with enhanced or unlimited permissions. And custom fields are going to allow you to keep track of that information that's important to your team and your team's business. So let's say I want to create a custom field for whether or not someone has attended our yearly holiday party. I can click Create Custom Field here in the top right. I'll name that field. And then I'm going to select a certain type of field for that to be. Now, there are a lot of options here in this menu, and you can create so many different types of custom fields that it's really just going to be a matter of your own personal preference on what type of field it can be. So you can do anything from a simple text field where you would type in a box, or a large text area for a paragraph. You can create a drop-down menu of various options, or just a simple yes or no checkbox. And as you can see, there's even things like URLs or percentages or even currencies to keep track of exactly what you need to. For my holiday party example, I'm going to make this a simple checkbox field. And my final question before I create this custom field is whether or not this should be a default custom field. So that default custom field option here is really just going to mean, do you want this to show up on every contact that your team creates? Or do you want it to just be an ancillary thing that can be selected? So if you want it to show up all the time, check that box to make it default. And then anytime someone adds a contact within your team's database, under the custom area, they will see this attended holiday party checkbox and have the ability to add that to the contact record. And remember, for all of these settings, contact tags, lead sources, and custom fields, these are created by those who have enhanced or unlimited permissions and then leveraged by the rest of the team in organizing their database. So this is how you can create the framework, the structure, and systems for how your team is going to work and interact within Command, and then standardize that across the entirety of your team, so that everyone is on the same page when it comes to how we work with our people. And that's how we organize our Teams database from our contact settings. But there's a lot more to learn about Teams and Command, so click the next video and we'll show you more tips and tricks.